Should I start? In ancient Greek mythology, King Midas was a ruler who had a great desire to be incredibly wealthy. One day, in his encounter with goddess Dionysus, he was granted a wish. And driven out of greed, Midas made a wish that anything he touched should turn into gold. Initially, he was thrilled with his power because he was able to change anything ordinary into gold with a mere touch. He was feeling invincible, and he turned his palace into a dazzling display of wealth. But this did not last for long, because when he tried to eat his food, the food turned into gold. When he tried to drink water, that too turned into gold. But the worst was when he tried to embrace his daughter. She too turned into gold. Feeling all heartbroken, Midas realized that what he was doing was not something in the direction that he envisioned. The wish turned into a curse. What he thought would bring him immense happiness actually got him misery. 17 years ago, I had a similar desire. While greed would be an exaggeration to my desire, I had entered corporate very early, and I thought one day I should take up a leadership position. And with this desire, I gave my best as an individual contributor. With the virtue of some good work, I moved into a managerial role in a couple of years. I started this role with a whole lot of excitement and enthusiasm. I thought this was one of the biggest accomplishments that I had ever made. But this did not last forever. Same like Midas. Because I was battling with a whole lot of challenges just in a couple of months from when I started off. I saw myself battling with performance issues, team challenges, communication breakdowns. God, it was quite a bit to manage. Much like King Midas's initial desire for power and wealth, I too saw the idea of leadership as a pinnacle of success, as something that I would be rewarded for my great work. I was not prepared for the challenges and responsibilities it would bring in, not only for myself, but also for the team that I would manage. For the years to come, I invested myself in understanding what it takes to develop leaders. And I understand that a true strength of an organization doesn't lie only in its current leadership, but in a way it is able to shape the future leaders. With Gen Zs coming into organizations, it's very common for me to hear in interviews, what do you want to be in the next 5 years? And this is a question to the freshers. They would say a CEO. I just sometimes look at myself and I'm 17 years, what am I doing? But that is true. And with these inspirations and aspirations being higher and the challenges of leadership not becoming any simpler, how do we go about grooming the next generation of leaders? What do we do to cultivate the leaders who are able to take the torch of leadership much brighter than how we are holding it right now? To answer these questions, we must first understand the core qualities of leadership. With my 17 years of experience, I have worked with, trained, and observed a wide array of leaders. And with this privilege of experience, I have come down to understand that there are few essential qualities that all great leaders possess. The first one is emotional intelligence. I know a couple of people have already spoken about it, and it is one of the most important skill for a leader, but often underestimated by corporates. Imagine a scenario where a leader is in a situation of crisis. The project deadlines are overdue, the people are burned out, and the client is unhappy. In this kind of a scenario, most leaders would often put a lot of pressure on the team, demand a lot more, and start to micromanage. But emotionally intelligent leaders would do slightly different. I once worked with a leader who had a very similar situation, and I was amazed with how he managed the situation. He sat with his team and spent a lot of time to listen to their challenges, to their emotions. And this was able to translate to a lot of empathy that the team felt coming from the leader. Through his empathy and emotional awareness, the leader was able to take the team through this crisis situation and achieve the project targets, not only achieving the targets, but also be able to build a stronger and cohesive team. The second one being resilience. Again, I heard Sonika say resilience is the most important aspect, and it is not any discounted in leadership. It is a capacity to bounce back when you go through setbacks. It is to keep going when the going gets tough. In my own scenario, when I was encountered with a whole lot of challenges, I had two choices. One, to give up and accept failure. Two, to battle these with a whole lot of courage. In this scenario, we will have to look at opportunities that come as learnings through challenges. Failure is not the end of the world. It is a great opportunity to learn and grow and build your capabilities. And as a leader, when you do this, you not only find solutions for yourself, but you inspire a whole lot of people who are looking up to you to find solutions. The third aspect is vision. Vision is a capability of being able to look beyond. The immediate task and goals are not the most important things for leaders who are visionaries. They look at the bigger picture, the impact and the legacy that you could leave behind if you are invested not only in your day-to-day task, but go beyond and achieve more. I once worked with a leader who was exactly able to translate this. And it was incredible to see the kind of success that the organization achieved because he had transformed the entire organization into a high-performing organization. Because visionary leaders are not those who are just managing the present. They're shaping the future. Now, these qualities of emotional intelligence, resilience, and vision, they might seem like innate traits, but not for all. Nonetheless, it could be cultivated, right? With my own journey, I have seen few methods that help in translating some of these qualities into reality, and we'll talk about that soon. The first one is mentoring. It is one of the most important tools that organizations could use in shaping the future leaders, because it is a beautiful relationship that you build where one leader is able to transfer his or her knowledge, skills, abilities, and wisdom to do the job of leadership even better. If you think of a mentor who was invested into you, believing in your potential, thinking of what you could achieve, and has been a reason for your success so far, imagine what you could do by being a mentor to somebody else in your life. Mentoring is just not about giving advice. It is about creating a safe environment when one is able to experiment, explore, and even do mistakes without the fear of judgment. And this is something that cannot be replaced. Organizations should invest into bringing these emerging leaders and experienced leaders together, because only then would you be able to nurture growth and realize the true potential of the generations to come. The next aspect is empowering. Empowering is just not about delegation, asking somebody else to do the task for you, right? It is about being able to do a support system, let me rephrase. It is about being a support system for someone who is taking charge of a project or a task. When you truly empower somebody, you tell them, I trust you for your abilities to lead. And that means a lot to people. Early in my career, when I started working with a manager, I often used to walk up to him initially with problems. And every time I would ask him that, I'm stuck, how do I solve this? He would tell me, find your solution. He would just ask me questions that will help me find my solution. I was frustrated, I was angry, because I felt that as a manager, it was his responsibility to give me those solutions. But to avoid embarrassment, I started to think of possible solutions the next time I went to him, because I knew he would ask me for solutions. And this translated actually into a lot of good for my own capability building, because I started finding ways to solve my own problems. And what better than that? Because while I was solving these problems and finding solutions, I was able to implement this solution with a whole lot of ownership and accountability, because it was my solution, and I knew I would put my heart into bringing the best out of it. So the projects were more successful. So today, as a leader, I also do the same with my team. And I see the difference it could bring to an employee's life when they are truly empowered to take ownership and to drive those success in the projects that they are entitled to. The last one is real-world problems. Organizations invest a lot of time and effort in training people in classrooms. But that alone is not enough. Because if you heard of the 70-20-10 principle, 70% of what people learn is from doing things and not learning things in a classroom, because the classroom contributes only to 10% of it. Organizations have a whole array of projects which are not high on complexity, like CSR or engagement activities, where they could choose high potentials to allow them practice what they have learned during their trainings as practical. This is where the theory meets the practice. If you are able to invest into some of these, people not only prepare themselves for future leadership, but also understand the challenges that it brings for people that have not done it before. So when I look back in my own journey, I wish I had some of these learnings and experiences even before I had taken up the leadership position. I wish I knew a lot of these things even before taking up this position, so that it could have helped me transition into this role in a much smoother way. And if you want to look at Gen Zs who truly believe in organizations that nurture the capabilities for future, you will have to integrate your organization strategy into leadership strategy. It can't be a mere initiative that is driven in isolation. So I challenge you, whether you are a leader, a mentor, or somebody who believes in the true power of leadership, to start taking action towards grooming and nurturing the next generation of leaders. Because when you are investing into the future of leaders, you're not just making leaders, you're building a legacy of leadership that will shape the future. Thank you.